Hey everyone, the College Railroader here, and after a while of looking through older videos, I realized that I've had a lot of trains in my possession that I never properly made a review on. And so one of the ones, which is one of my favorite types of trains that I have in my collection, I want to kind of show everybody and do a traditional Bachmann review, is of course my Pennsylvania GG1. So come follow me, though it won't be a traditional unboxing, I still want to show you the cool features it has. It is DCC in sound, so we'll hear it running around the layout. I also have these very old Pennsylvania passenger cars that my father actually has, so it'll be cool to have him going around the layout. We hear the cool bells and whistles and the motor sound effects, really cool stuff. That way other people can be interested in buying such a great product of Bachmann. So come follow me, let's see this train in action. So if you do get this Pennsylvania GG1 from Bachmann, the moment you put it on the track, the one thing that you can already tell is that this thing is massive, right? You know, it's bigger than, you know, the 9-inch piece of track. So we're talking about, I want to say 9.5 inches, and it's very heavy, which I absolutely love. That's how you know that this train is really good. It can pull a lot. All the wheels, of course, there are 20 wheels, right, pulling this thing. So the very important thing about this train is that you have to definitely make sure that your tracks are nice and smooth and they're wide enough. So for example, a 15-inch radius is definitely not going to cut it, but you know, a 18-inch and greater, it'll make it. And just looking at the absolute detail, the pinstripes on the sides, the radiator side, the windows, the pantograph, of course, itself is just absolutely amazing. And the fact that you can click on it to take it off, so it is adjustable, so you can have, obviously you wouldn't have both up, but whichever the direction is, you'd have the back one go on. So it's really cool that Bachmann added that feature when they didn't really have to. The snub nose side of the course is very impressive. I love the little lights, and of course, the symbols on the inside are great. Obviously, this is number 4913. The little side lights on the side, though, those top lights, of course, are painted white, so they don't make light, but of course, the main cap in the middle does too. Just very impressive. And again, you would think that this train would be more finicky, just because it has so many wheels, but as long as your tracks are nice and clean and the rails are smooth, it's a great set regardless. So enough of me talking, let's try to see this baby in action. We'll have it do like a slow crawl, and I'll show it's very impressive. So I already have him set up on my Bachmann DCC easy command controller. We're gonna hit, he's number 4, of course, he's 419. We're gonna hit the light feature. That's on, and even in reverse, it still goes on, but it's just dimmer. It's very impressive. Now I'm just gonna have him crawl just a little bit, just so you can see, even with the noise off first. Look at that. So he can go very slowly, right? And even over the tracks, on the 2 switch tracks, no problems, right? Which is great. Okay, so now I'm finally going to use his sound features. So for some reason on mine, his default is that he doesn't make any sound. But when I hit numbers 5 and 6, it's both of his motors. So I'm going to hit number 5 first. It's just kind of his standard electric motor kind of going. And then number 6, if I press, has this kind of older style motor. Now what's cool is I can merge both together, have 5 and 6 on. And make him sound ready. Alright? Down here we're also going to try out the bell. Standard bell. Nothing any special. We have the long and short horn. Let's do a short horn first. So it almost reminds me of like a barge or a ship. But if you merge all these together, so number 5 and 6 on, and the bell, and then the horn, Amazing job. The other very impressive thing is, like I said before, again, you could also mute him so he doesn't have to be super noisy, because of course, you know, he can be. But he's just a very nice train to have. Again, these were around from the 30s, 50s, and so definitely a very stylized train. But what's really cool, again, you could have it go forward or backwards. It doesn't really affect it because, of course, it looks the same. But it just runs so beautifully. So, enough of me talking. Let's finally have him on the layout. We'll have him pull both his traditional Pennsylvania passenger cars, as well as some of his freight cars that you could potentially would have seen back in the day. Unfortunately, though, I didn't bring all of my 18-inch radius tracks, so some of these on the inside are 15-inch, so he won't be able to make the turn. Or I guess he could, but those passenger cars are very finicky, they don't want to. So just for now, he'll be on the outer edge, but when we do other trains in this mini Bachmann review series, you'll see more trains interact more in my layout. But enough of me talking, let's see him in action. So as you folks can see, this Bachmann GG1 is so impressive for the amount of power that it truly has. It's really heavy. It's over 3 pounds, or 2.8 pounds, roughly, I want to say, when I bought it. That's what the dimensions said on the packaging. So you know that it could pull a lot. And even in my train room, it can make a steep incline and pull cars like it's no one's business, and it's not even tricky, which is amazing. The detailing is really great. I love that the pantographs can move up and down. I love that these still old Pennsylvania cars still work just fine. They're incredibly old, way older than me, but they still run very well, even with the newer train, which is nice that even older passenger cars can still work with newer trains like new Bachmann or Atlas or anything like that. The coupling, it was great, even on the short radius curves. They were still fine. I'm still impressed that even using only an 18-inch radius, all 20 wheels still moved fine. And you guys saw that it went perfectly, even slowly, so the pickup is really on each of those 12 wheels, just the middle two, which is fantastic. The lights are really cool. As you saw when the train was driving by, I kept flickering it on and off to make it look like that it was flashing, though that's not a feature, or at least I haven't been able to find a feature that's been able to say that it could do that. I'm not quite sure. The motors, I love that there's 2 different types. Like I said, buttons 5 and 6, so there was 2 different kinds. I like the horn. I feel at first when I heard the horn, I didn't find it interesting. I thought this was more of a giant ship than, you know, a train, but after kind of realizing it, I thought, you know, the grand scheme of things, I thought it was fine. I don't think Bachmann allowed this type of GG1 to have the ability to change its horn. I know, for example, if you have an older model train that could be DC equipped, and if you put in, let's say, a Soundtracks, right, one of those decoders that can do sound, I know that they have the ability to adjust the different pitches and sounds of what you have, but I don't think Bachmann, I think it just had the one. Similar to when Bachmann did the main central big locomotive, the steam effect and the bell was the same as my smaller 260 model. So they're all very similar with Bachmann. They all kind of keep it the same, which I get. I would have liked to see more variety because a lot of trains did have such variety in its bells and whistles and horns and motor sounds. But that's, you know, that's besides the point. The price that I found originally, it could span from, you know, $200, $140-ish. I was fortunate to get mine on Train World online, trainworld.com, and they had a special, so it was only $100, and so I was astonished to say the least, that I could find such a train for only $100. So it's definitely, if you could find them on sale, even $120, well worth it. I don't know, as a college student, it's hard for me to justify spending over, you know, $180 or you know, $150 on a train. Even pulling the freight cars, no worries at all. I know I only had 7 cars pulling that. The train again ran just fine. In my other episode where this train's been featured, he normally also pulls those silver. Originally they were Pennsylvania, but we kind of scratched out the lettering, thinking we were going to use them for New Haven. In retrospect, I guess we shouldn't have done that. But that's my favorite, of him pulling either the silver Pennsylvania cars or these brown ones to match his color. Just really impressive. This is one of my favorite trains that I bought in the past 2 years, I want to say. Since, yeah, in the past 2 years since this publication of the video. Been one of my favorite trains. Absolutely love it. I just love the intricacy of, again, all 20 wheels and how when it makes the curves on these tracks, it doesn't affect it at all. Just a very impressive model. So for someone who likes the GG1s and to reminisce of, Pennsylvania during the 30s to 50s, definitely worth the buy. And there are different colors too. You have the traditional brown, you have that dark green, there's black, a lot of different kinds. So definitely look into getting one because these are absolutely fantastic. And just like that, we're on the right track. I'll see you real soon when we come back. Thank you so much for watching the College Railroader today. Be sure to be on the lookout for more videos to come. Take care, everybody.